If you told me I would be using AI every single day, I would be having laughed, like genuinely. Because I was a person who thought ChatGPT was fancy Google. You type something, it gives you the answer. Cool, whatever. But then something happened. I started actually using it. Not just asking random questions, but really using it. For my work, for my habits, for my money, for literally planning my week. And honestly, it was uncomfortable at the first. It wasn't this perfect robot assistants everyone talked about online, and I want to tell you exactly what happened. The good stuff, the embarrassing stuff, the moment I thought, okay, this is actually going to change how I think. Who this is for? Before I get into it, if you're someone who is heard about AI but never really gone deep into it, this video is made for you. I'm not a tech guy, I'm not from Silicon Valley. I'm just a regular person who started using ChatGPT and Cloud as a browser extension. Like, that's it. And slowly started figuring out what this stuff can actually do. So if you're a student, a working professional, someone who wants to be more productive, learn better, or just start feeling like AI is a scary thing happening around you, stay with me because this is going to be practical, real, and honestly, a kind of surprising. Week number 1, the confusion phase. So week 1, I decided, okay, I'm going to use AI for everything normally I do. Planning, writing, thinking through problems, everything. And the first thing I noticed, I have no idea how to talk to it. Like, I would type something like, give me a productivity plan, and it would give me this huge wall of text. 10 steps, 15 habits, morning routine, evening routine, journal, meditate, exercise. It was like, bro, calm down. And that's when I realized problem was not with the AI. The problem was how I was asking. I was being vague. I was giving it no context about who I am. It's like going to a doctor and saying, I don't feel good, and expecting them to fix everything without telling them anything. So I started being more specific. Instead of giving me a productivity plan, I said, I'm a student and I have 4 hours of free time a day. I want to build a strong habit this month. What should I focus on? And suddenly the answer was actually useful. It gave me one thing, a specific thing that I could actually do. That was my first real lesson. AI is only smart as the question you ask. Week 2, when it actually got useful. Week 2 is when things started clicking, and it happened in a realistic, unexpected way. I was going through this phase where I had many things to do and zero motivation to do any of them. Classic overwhelm. And I did something a little weird. I just typed out how I was feeling to Claude. Like, honestly, I have these 7 things to do. I feel stuck. I don't know where to start. And every time I sit down to work, and I just end up on my phone. And it did give me a motivational speech. It didn't say, you got this, like some Instagram caption. It just broke it down. It asked me which of these things actually matters this week. Which ones are just giving in your head, making you anxious. I said, and honestly, I sat there and I was like, I've never actually asked myself that. I was treating everything as urgent, as equally urgent, and it helped me see that only 2 of these 7 things actually need to happen that week. The rest were just noise. That one conversation, probably 10 minutes, saved me like 3 days of mental clutter. That's when I started taking it seriously. Week 3, money and working stuff. By week 3, I was getting comfortable. So I started pushing it into areas I hadn't tried. Money and work. First thing I did, I asked ChatGPT to help me understand where my money was going. I gave it to a rough breakdown of my monthly expenses. No exact numbers, just categories, and I said where I probably leaking my money without realizing it. The answers were so specific, it was almost embarrassing. Subscription I forgot about, food spending pattern, and the habit of buying things impulsively when stressed. I was not doing anything my parents hadn't told me before, but something about seeing it laid out clearly with actual suggestion made it land differently. Then I used it for work. I had to write a long email to someone important, and I was overthinking every word. I just told Claude, here is the situation, here is what I want to say, here is the tone I want, help me write this. 2 minutes, done. And it sounded like me, not like a robot, because I gave it enough context to work with. I started realizing AI doesn't replace thinking, it accelerates it. The thinking still has to come from you, but once you have a direction, it moves 10 times faster. Week 4, the uncomfortable truth. Week 4. And this is the part I wasn't expecting to talk about, but I think it's important. I noticed I was starting to rely on AI for things I should probably be doing myself. Like, I would ask it for opinion before I even formed my own. I would use it to make small decisions, could easily make myself. One day, I caught myself asking ChatGPT whether I should call a friend of mine back. Like, come on. And that's when I had to draw a line. Because AI is a tool, not a replacement of judgment. The moment you stop thinking because you think AI will think for you, you're actually getting dumber, not smarter. Your own brain gets lazy. So I made a rule for myself. Think first, then use AI to sharpen or execute. Never the other way around. And that single shift changed how useful it became, because now I'm using it as a collaborator, not a crutch. Wrap up. So 30 days later, what actually changed? My productivity up. Not because AI did the work, but because I stopped wasting time staring at blank or overthinking emails. My clarity, way better. Having something to think out loud with, even if it's an AI, helps you untangle your own head faster. My relationship with money, more aware. Just that one conversation made me more conscious of pattern I was ignoring. But here is the most honest thing I can tell you. AI didn't change my life in 30 days. It changed how I work within my life. And that's actually a bigger deal than it sounds. I'm going to keep making videos on this. Practical stuff, real experiments, no hype. If that sounds useful to you, subscribe. And if you are already using AI and have a story about it, drop it in the comments. I actually read them. Let's figure out together. And hey, next week, I'm doing a full breakdown of ChatGPT versus Claude. Which one actually wins for everyday use? Which one is better for specific tasks? And which one I personally use more. If you ever wondered which AI to pick, you don't want to miss that one. See you then.